Attention please, 10 minutes to curtain. This is 10 Minutes to Curtain, Episode 8, and I'm your host, Charlie Miller. With summer rapidly approaching, our season is winding down, but not before the grand finale. The last show of the season is special because it is a nationally renowned musical that originated here at the Denver Center over 25 years ago. We're excited to bring Quilters home to conclude our 30th anniversary season. Early in the rehearsal process, the cast and crew of Quilters went on a field trip to the Rocky Mountain Quilt Museum in Golden. I got to join them in Understanding the Art of Quilting.
My name is Penny Metropolis, and I'm directing Quilters. The play is about the pioneer movement, and it features 7 women who moved west. It becomes this woman Sarah's story.
Sarah is a woman who is at the end of her life and wants to leave a legacy to her daughters. She has quilted probably over 100 quilts in her lifetime, but the last quilt she's making is going to be like a family album. So each block represents a daughter, a sister, an aunt, her mother, her grandmother, and the threads and the patterns that she puts into the quilting is part of her family too.
So we see these various stories come to life in Sarah's mind, and even though they are specifically Sarah's stories, I think that they really reflect the big historical story of women in the West. It was very interesting to go to the Quilting Museum today. I think it was interesting for all of us to simply watch a demonstration of taking 4 stitches through 3 layers of fabric, and you realize the amount of work that was done by hand.
It started out as a necessity because you couldn't get material. So any material you had to save, and that became scrap bags. And then the scraps were sewn together in order to make something larger, because if you couldn't stay warm, you died. And then I think from the necessity, I think it turned into an art form. Because, with women, why not make it beautiful too?
To walk in and see an 18th century quilt on the wall was extremely moving to me, because you feel yourself reaching across the decades and the actual centuries across to these women who created something that is lasting. That's what I think the play is about. That's what I think these quilts are about. That's what these women are about.
A couple of weeks ago, the theater company presented a staged reading of Intrusives, a new play we commissioned by National Theatre Conservatory graduate and playwright Stephen Cole Hughes. But this wasn't your average reading. Here's a new series about new play development I like to call In the Works, Intrusives.
I'm Stephen Cole Hughes. I am the playwright of Intrusives. I'm a graduate of the National Theatre Conservatory, so I studied here. And I wrote this play specifically for this theater company, because I know that the students and also graduates of the program are trained in this really great, beautiful art form of low-flying trapeze, and I wanted to write a play that would incorporate that into the storytelling.
I honor Steve for risking this project by deliberately wanting to include the aerial aspect in a play that's essentially has nothing to do with the aerial aspect. It has everything to do with the story of Lawrence of Arabia and the Middle East and its history.
We call ourselves the Intrusives, don't we?
We do. Not now, Lawrence.
Yes.
Why? Not now, Lawrence.
Because as Intrusives, we mean to break into the accepted halls of English foreign policy and build a new people here in the East.
The play is about T.E. Lawrence, who is Lawrence of Arabia, and this woman named Gertrude Bell, and they were both spies, essentially, working for the British government during and after World War I. The events of this play are the creation of modern-day Iraq, and I knew that I wanted to tell that story on stage, and I wondered what the best way to represent all of these kind of grand, epic things on stage would be, and I just thought the trapeze was the perfect vehicle for that, and to represent battles, to have people swinging around and their robes flowing. And there are often times when rather than write a whole big long scene of dialogue out, you could just really represent it on trapeze and the audience will get it, and it's a really wonderful way to tell stories. The trapeze is always used as a metaphor for something.
People who haven't studied or worked or trained the way we work and train generally don't work with the trapezes at all as anything other than a trapeze. And we really, really try to train in our students the fact that anything you do on a trapeze, you're doing with a partner. That the trapeze is as alive and dynamic as you are.
And so for me in this play, the trapeze is always, every time it's used in this play, it is a metaphor for someone's ultimate desire, their ultimate happiness. And so it's used in a variety of ways. And in the staged reading here, we're giving just kind of a flavor of it. So I feel like the play is in really good shape. And I hope that it can actually be produced sometime in the near future because it's so timely.
To learn more about the National Theatre Conservatory's movement program, and to see some awesome footage of a trapeze performance by the first-year class, check out the Episode 8 bonus features on YouTube. And now I'm pleased to present a documentary I put together after a grueling expedition to one of the most remote locations in the theater. Enjoy this exclusive look at an astonishing journey you never knew existed.
There are few places harder to get to in this theater. But there is one tribe that has made this lounge their home for dozens of years. In some ways, this is a story about a play and how the audience gets in to see it. But it's more than that, really. This is a story about love. The Denver Center ushers are technically volunteers, though they work so hard, you'd think they were professionals. If you're wondering why they are assembled here stuffing programs, well, that's part of our story. Each day, at around the same time, ushers gather in the lounge and embark on a remarkable journey. Their destination is always the same. It is usually a graceful parade, but not always. Finally, the ushers arrive at the place where their love of plays began. But for now, they wait. It is 30 minutes to curtain. The house is open, and so the ushers begin to pursue their journey's purpose. For the next half hour, the ushers and audience will participate in an ancient and complicated affair. There will be tickets, there will be programs, and if they are successful, there will be a show. As the audience begins to sense the urgency of showtime, more and more enter the theater. The ushers work hard to seat people quickly and efficiently. This is the moment they have been waiting for. This is where they thrive. With the show about to start and the last people in their seats, the ushers escape to the lobby. The show starts on time, but the seating is far from over. The latecomers have arrived. They are seated in front of the lobby TV, and at precisely the right moment, the ushers lead them into the theater, quietly seating them without interrupting the show. And at last, the tribe returns to their lounge, their long journey completed. They part ways for now, but know that they will all meet here again soon, so that the show can go on.
And we'll end with a quick Your Turn. Next month will be the last episode of the season, so this is your final opportunity to inspire a segment in Season 1. What more do you want to learn about Quilters? How should I conclude the first season of 10 Minutes to Curtain? Send in your suggestions, and if we turn yours into a segment, you can win free tickets to see Quilters. As usual, you can post a video, post a comment, or send an email to 10minutes@dcpa.org. And that's it for this month. Tune in the first Tuesday in June for the last episode of the season. And spread the love!